Good afternoon, everyone. We'll just wait for a couple of minutes, maybe a minute, or give people time to join the session. But I can see we have quite a bit of already who joined us. So, Cristina, I think we have 29 participants.
Yes.
So I guess we can start. Okay.
Yes.
So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the session on the community partnership to make gender-based violence and everyone's issue to address. We are representing Toronto West Lip, though we are Cristina and I are the members of the Toronto West Lip. My name is Nadia Sokhan. I'm Director of Monitoring, Reporting, and Partnerships at Polycultural Immigrant Community Services. Cristina, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you, Nadia. So good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for attending this presentation. Thank you to OCASI for the great opportunity. So I'm Cristina. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm a member of the Women's Against Violence Action Group. I'm representing Ernestine's Women's Shelter. Ernestine's Women's Shelter is an emergency shelter located in Toronto with 32 beds and 14 private rooms. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Cristina. We'll happy to take your questions if you want to unmute yourself and during the presentation, but also feel free to put your questions in the chat and we will respond to it as soon as we can. But if you will keep yourself muted just to avoid the background noises, it would be great. Just want to give you a little bit overview about the Toronto West Lip. I know that many already know what is local immigration partnerships are, and that it's a network of, and it's a collaboration of organizations that serve newcomers to improve and coordinate the services among service providers and other community stakeholders to make the services more efficient and for the benefits of newcomers we serve. Couple of interesting facts. There are 5 lips in Toronto: Toronto West, South, East, and North, and also there is a central Toronto Central Lip, and there are all overall 80 lips across Canada, and all the lips has almost the same kind of agenda, maybe a little bit different approach, but it's a network of organizations who serves immigrants locally. And Toronto West Lip, guided by the theory of change. So we looked into theory of change and we look at the social impact, because we're all contributing, all our members, would it be Ernestine shelter or Polycultural or school boards who are part of the Toronto Public Health, many employment settlement, housing and other service providers who are part, including libraries, part of the group. We contribute to our mission statement and impact statement. So this is our goal, and to achieve within 5 years. So and we collectively put an effort into reaching our goals. So the LIB is give us that structure, so we're all working towards those goals. So we have a goal, and our theory of change impact statement is that within 5 years, 80% of newcomers in the area we are focusing on will be on track to reach their goals related to economic, social participation and well-being, and also aware of their rights and responsibilities. So to reach the social impact, we plan a number of strategies and a number of activities, and also to reach the outcomes. And outcomes for Toronto West Lib is to make sure that newcomers have financial means for their to cover their basic needs. The employers are hiring newcomers. Newcomers have a sense of belonging. They're aware of their rights, responsibilities, and they have sufficient language skills to meet their settlement goals. So the main work is actually done at the Toronto West Lib are done by the members of the action groups. And you will see action groups line below. Me and Cristina are part of the Women Against Violence Action Group. But different action groups contribute to different outcomes. So for example, Women Against Violence Action Group, we contribute to the goal of newcomers' awareness of their rights and responsibilities, that they are connected to services and have a sense of belonging, and also have financial means in whatever situation they are. So this is very high level overview, what guides us as a collaboration at the Toronto West Lib, and we are members of the Women Against Violence Action Group, and there are a number of other action groups that work to achieve the outcomes we plan for newcomers, including Education Resources, Employment Resource Connections Action Group, and Service Coordination Action Group. So we'll focus more. Cristina, you want to continue?
Yes, sure. Thank you. The Women's Against Violence Action Group has been established in 2015 and created its mission and objectives. And through our mission, that we can define this group purpose, that is gender-based violence is everyone's issue to address. The Women's Against Violence, then the members that we are, Nadia, myself, and so many other people, we are representing different organizations, and we have supported frontline workers, mostly not in the VAW sector, violence against women sector, to build capacity, to increase their knowledge, to create awareness in order to address and to work harder to end gender-based violence, and an endemic issue, and that during the pandemic we can say increase it a lot. So for instance, for Ernestine's Women's Shelter, I can give an example. During the pandemic and since March 2020, we received 40% increase on crisis calls. And we can know through the Assaulted Women's Helpline that people looking for VAW shelters increased in 400% during the pandemic. So, and our mission is to make it something for all of us to address, to work harder. Thank you, Nadia.
Okay. Thank you, Cristina. So establishing the group, just want to give you a little bit of timelines, what we've done since the establishment in 2015. And it was middle of the year, there was an idea of, establishing a group, and we recruited members. And the first few months we talked about brainstorming what really we want to focus on and how to work, in addition, not just go into actions and initiatives, but try to find the purpose and goal and what exactly we can influence as, because most of us are volunteering. We're members of this group. The Toronto West Lib is helping us to coordinate and organize all the activities, but members contribute a lot. So the first year was all about the purpose, what we can do, where is our impact, and that's why we created the mission. And our mission is on the front of every activity we do, as that it's everyone's issue to address. The domestic violence, gender-based violence cannot be addressed just by the sector who works with victims. So the next year we decided to ask the community members who are working with residents or newcomers what's their opinion. So we conducted a survey on non-violent sector to identify their needs in assisting victims. Do they assist? How they assist? Do they need any support? And right after the survey, we start developing resources and tools and training opportunities. So we launched our first response toolkit, and we did the capacity forum for frontline staff. So the next year we continue, and we actually, with the toolkit, we look at it and review it every year. So it's we'll talk about toolkit a little bit more down below, but toolkit is part of every year review to make sure that information is complete, that it's really helping, and also, if there's any updates or there are changes which needs to be reflected. Third year, we focused on communication campaigns. So we wanted to raise awareness of gender-based violence issue to the public, in addition to working with service providers in the area. And we start developing a policy bank. We'll start looking at what organizations have to support their frontline staff, and we focused on managers and trying to help them to give them templates of different procedures, and also policies or guidelines in terms of serving victims of gender-based violence, especially if you're not in the sector. So we also had an event for managers moving from practice to policy to make sure that they have the tools, or they see what tools that can assist and can be adapted to their organization. So the next year, revision of the toolkit, which is usual, and also training for frontline staff on the use of the toolkit. So next year, we had a series of 6 workshops for non-VAW service providers, VAW service providers, and so we invited a lot of guest speakers from Ontario wards, from police, from courts, to present to frontline staff to increase their capacity in serving victims. So during the pandemic, we worked on developing a video. So we thought of online resources, and we'll talk about the video a little bit later. But we did the script and we recorded the video, which now is available for the public, and hopefully people can use it. In the video, we try to talk to the client, to potential client, to a woman or somebody who is a victim of gender-based violence, and help ask for certain action in terms of asking, approaching support to break the cycle of violence. And also we started planning additional series of workshops which move into current year. Cristina?
Yes. So as Nadia was just sharing, in 2016, the Women's Against Violence Action Group decided to conduct a survey with non-VAW frontline staff. So in order to have an idea what are the main needs when supporting victims of domestic violence, gender-based violence. And the group then analyzed the results and focused on the main gaps that we found there. That have been reported by those frontline workers, right? So when you can see here, the majority recognize that gender-based violence is a global issue, widespread within Canada. Also, the majority expressed that would like to increase their knowledge and attend capacity building sessions. And as you can see, half of them expressed that they were not able to support a victim of domestic violence or gender-based violence after a disclosure or when they were disclosing their situation. So then is when we started to focus on how to support those frontline staff members. And then we started to create and to provide capacity training and create the toolkit that we're gonna go there soon. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Cristina. So as you can see, all our activities, our members' activities, we're focusing on developing tools for frontline staff, also to communicate the issue to the public and also service providers in the area, and also organize different training and skill building opportunities for frontline staff from not VAW sector to increase their capacity and knowledge and opportunities to support the victims once the disclosure is there. So, so this is our main kind of approach in our activities, and all our activities would fit one of those three possible kind of strategies for to support the sector. So the toolkit, the crisis line resources, sample organization policy, that would be tools and resources, communication campaign. We had public engagement on Twitter 1 year to ask them for suggestions how we can end gender-based violence, and also the video, and a lot of different workshops on skills building.
Okay, here are some of the pictures that are showing how we were doing since end of 2015, mostly 2016 and so on. So we have been meeting, promoting, and providing capacity building. We provide a webinar series, as Nadia was mentioning. We were including also certificates for people attending those webinar series. Just 50% of attendance will provide a certificate for that frontline worker. We are actually right now running a series of 3 workshops. We have completed the first one in September 22nd about housing and new changes to the housing applications and so on during the COVID. Next topic is going to be for November on mental health and COVID. And next year, beginning of 2022. So we have here pictures about, I don't know, it's about the webinars when we were meeting, food included always. We never stop pandemic. We find a way, like we are doing now, virtually. So about this series, the 6 webinars that we presented, Nadia was already sharing some of them, but for example, human trafficking was one of them, legal help and how to navigate the justice system, criminal law and the role of police, RGI and SPP, or a rent guarantee income and special priority application for housing. We had also, as Nadia shared, Ontario Works related with gender-based violence benefits that you can support your clients with. This was amazing, and we have someone in the chat, Nadia. Let me read. Hi, Nadia and Cristina. How can we join this series of upcoming webinars? This is Shaden. Thank you.
Okay. We definitely would be happy to provide you with the link of registration. Usually Toronto West Lib staff who coordinates the initiatives what we are organizing, they will be responsible for registration. And I think we have emails down below at the end of the presentation today. So
yes,
what you can do is share your email with us on the chat. So we'll send it to you, or you can send an email to register for the contact we have at the end of the presentation today.
Yes, we have another person. Lisette, thank you. I would love to see the toolkits and resources. We're gonna go more in detail during this presentation, but also, as Nadia said, at the end of the presentation, you're gonna have how to communicate with us. Thank you. Okay. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. And the interesting part, if you want to run something similar to workshops, we had no problem on recruiting the speakers, and I can tell you it was all voluntary speakers. We didn't really, we don't have a budget for speakers or workshops. So we had crowns, we had Antari Works, we had legal clinics presenting, and everybody were eager to present once you asked for, if you want to join the initiative and present for the people. And also we had no problem of promoting our sessions to the community members. Thank you, Cristina. So I'll move to the next slide. So again, what makes us work so well is, I think, even though we're all different members from different organizations and don't know even there is a lot of new faces, but we have a lot of contribution from the members, is that we have a common goal, and this is really what we have in terms of our mission, and we spend time to come up with a common goal, and that's what unites us. I'm not from VAW sector, I'm from settlement sector. Cristina is from VAW sector, and she's our expert in the group, but we all work together to achieve our common goal. So we also have a good engagement. We have a terms of references for the group. If you want to become a member, we also make sure that we have a good chair, and we follow our structure, and we have a coordination support from Toronto West Lib. We meet regularly, we have work plans, we communicate, and that's so everybody not only believe in our mission, but also have a framework to be engaged and contribute. Even though we all know that we all have our jobs and responsibilities based on our employment and and we have limited capacity, but we all contribute time. And we also have intentional recruitment, and sometimes people hear about us and want to join the group. So we definitely look into kind of any applications or expression of interest.
Thank you, Nadia. So the list of the members of the Women's Against Violence Action Group, we're going to see the list at the end of the presentation. So the members that are part or were part, some of them are not part anymore, but mostly all of us, we were since the beginning, is from different kind of organizations, mostly not from VAW sector. So it's an amazing group of people, mostly a majority of women or female staff. We have also male staff. So we commit our time and we work. We have a strong commitment, and we share our knowledge. We learn from each other. And it's an amazing partnership, I will say. Just to say and to repeat, during the pandemic and the lockdowns and everything, this group kept going. We find a way to stay connected, to keep meeting, and to create new resources to share with community, with frontline staff in order to support. And remember, our mission is gender-based violence is everyone's issue to address. So we kept going, and this is what we're doing. Thank you.
So this is our kind of key achievements, but we know that work doesn't stop with our group, and we contribute to the whole structure, and the more contributions, the more impact you will see. But we know that through the workshops, we've built the capacity of non-VAW staff to respond to disclosure, and that's what's important within their capacity and within their responsibilities and within their time availability. But at least we need to kind of make sure that staff are comfortable, and if disclosure happens, at least they will do the minimum or something else what they can do within their capacity to respond to disclosure, and the victim is not left on their own to navigate the system of support. We try to engage the community at large with our communication and online campaigns, and we had a good participation on social media. So we have tools which staff can use for service provision and referrals. We introduced sample policies. and also all committee members or the work group members care about the issue and contribute time and effort. And that's our key achievement as well.
So before keep going, Nadia, I'm gonna read what we have in the chat box. So people are sharing their email addresses, and we will be back to you. Yes, thank you. So Nira is interested in seeing the toolkit and resources. Shaden, amazing. I am very happy to know more about your work, and I am assigned as a crisis counselor for a new gender-based violence project, and the goal and deliverables align with the group's work. I would like to connect in the future. Thank you. So we have Jasmine. Thank you, Jasmine. Jasmine is here as well, is part of our Women's Against Violence Action Group, and she has shared the toolkit link, so you can click there and you can look at it. So the key resources that the Women's Against Violence Action Group created and promoted since 2016 are the first response toolkit. Today we are in our 5th edition, has been approved recently in June. We're gonna go not through the toolkit per se, but we're gonna highlight some of the aspects and the topics that are included there. And we have here also the Stronger Than You Think short video. Nadia is going to talk more in next slides in more in detail. And we have also created a list of resources updated during the COVID-19 pandemic. That this is another resource that we have in our website. So can we share the Stronger Than You Think video, Nadia?
Sure.
It's a short video.
Before I'll ask Cristina to share the video, I want to ask you, for those who are at the desk and you have to prepare a piece of paper and a marker or a pen, because we'll ask you to do a very short exercise. So if you can take a piece of paper, like any format, and a marker or a pen before we show the video would be great. So let me stop sharing.
Yes, well, I have one question in the chat box, Nadia. I am Nira is saying, I am curious to know if there is any opportunity for survivors to inform and participate in your project.
I guess it's not an easy question, not an easy answer, a question to answer as a member of the Toronto West Lib. And maybe we didn't explain too much about the Lib. The Toronto West Lib, as any other Libs, are not providing direct service to the clients. The members organizations are. So in our focus is on the service providers who work with newcomers or work with residents. We can have we can have a membership coming from the resident, but as a group, we will still focus on the capacity of the service providers in the area and not work with the clients directly. So if the former survivor wants to be a member of the group and contribute to the work we are doing, perfect. If the resident is looking for services, then it's better if they would approach local service providers, as Toronto West Lib is working with. So let us know if you want to talk outside of this meeting, but hopefully it answers it. So Cristina, if you can, we can move into the video and you can.
Yes, and we have, sorry, Nadia, we have another one in the chat box. So mentioned in the beginning of your presentation is, one second, it's going. is something about financial assistance. Can you please elaborate about this? Who are eligible? And thank you, Divina, for your question. So this was part of our training webinars, the series that we provided. So we invited Ontario Works, and Toronto Employment and Social Services, and so we can pass to you more about this if you connect with us, but just to give an example. So for example, the Housing Stabilization Fund for a family that is living an abusive situation and they are getting permanent housing, they can get that benefit again when so we have to provide and we have to advocate on their behalf, provide information to Ontario Works or their social assistance worker, and that is an example of something that a benefit they can get, although they got in the past year or in the past months, and it's because they were fleeing an abusive situation. This is just an example, right? Thank you. Let's share the video. Please, Nadia, let me know if we can hear properly.
Do you feel afraid of your partner? Avoid certain topics? Walk on eggshells? Do you feel everything you do is wrong according to your partner? Do you believe that you deserve to be hurt or mistreated? Do you feel emotionally numb or helpless? Does your partner control your finances and keep track of what you do? Limit your access to the phone, car, or money? Keep you from seeing friends or family? Does your partner force you to have sex? Destroy your belongings? Hurt you or threaten to hurt you? Does your partner put you down and calls you names? Blame you for his violent behavior? Tell you that it's for your own good? You deserve a healthy relationship. It's not your fault. You are stronger, you think. You are not alone. There are professionals or people you can trust for you to talk to who can help you to safety. Explore available support for your decision to make change. Please call the safe and confidential Assaulted Women's Helpline to get the support you need.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Cristina.
Thank you. Stop sharing. Yes.
But we apologize for a little bit of the sound because it was not as strong as we would love to, but you know, hopefully you will be able to go and you know, use the link and also look into and watch the video. Okay. So you can see the PowerPoint presentation?
Yes, we continue,
Okay.
Nadia.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so it took us, the video is what, 2 minutes? And of course, we are not experts in video scripting, and but it took us almost 6 months to finish the video. You know, we spent quite a bit of time on preparation, and you know, we had to come up with an idea. What would be the purpose of the video? What we would say? With whom are we talking? Who is our intended audience? So And that's took quite a bit of time. And of course, it was changed as we start writing the script, but you have to kind of have a focus on, so if we decide to talk to the victim of gender-based violence, and we don't want to give a definition, for example, to, a victim, what is gender-based violence, or what is it means to be a victim. So we try to come up with messaging and ask questions, that would define, if they answer yes to any of those questions or can relate those questions to them, then it means, that maybe they need help. And our part of the script was to help them identify themselves and identify that this is not the right thing to do in terms of relationship with a partner, and also, encourage them to seek help and believe in themselves, that they can break the cycle of violence, that they can ask for support. And we try to look into, whom to direct it to. So, and we thought that, even many of us can assist the victim, but we will have the assaulted women's helpline as the main contact. It's 24/7, it's in many languages, it's available, and they will take care of the of the caller and direct them to appropriate resources no matter where they are. So it took us time to develop the script, and also we added additional features at the end, what is our key message, and our key message was, you're stronger than you think. And that becomes a hashtag, it becomes the title for the video. And we also decided that, we cannot translate the whole video, but at least we'll translate the stronger than you think. And all translations came from the members of the group. So again, we recorded on our cell phones, the messaging. We had assigned roles, and of course the recording with a face and name was voluntary. So all the people you see volunteered to have to be part of the recording. And we had a few rehearsals, and we had a few recordings. And at the end, we only, because we had a little bit, Toronto West Lib had a little bit resources, we had a professional to kind of look into, putting it all together, all the recordings, and cut unnecessary things. So even though you still can see that it's immature video recording, it's not a huge movie, but I thought it created additional flavor to it, that we are part of the community, and we are trying to talk directly to the victim and show them that there is a help available, and try to encourage them to seek for that help. Did I miss anything, Cristina? Do you want to add?
No, just wanted to say something before we go to the activity. Remember, Nadia, so the first recording we did, we said, this is the best. It was amazing, but we were not ready yet. So, and then we have to go through all the process, as you were saying, and it was really nice to do it. So just wanted to read something that is in the chat box. Before we keep going, give me a second. Thank you, Shaden. She's saying Safer and Stronger Women Project has some financial aid and wraparound supports for survivors in addition to capacity building activities. Thank you. And Shaden, the messages in the video are strong because it starts by asking questions without defining the situation, but rather initiating inner reflections for every woman to check if they are in a healthy relationship or something is wrong. Exactly. Thank you so much, Shaden.
Thank you for your comments. So I'm not sure you have your video turned off right now, but this is something, we will try to do it now, even if we have a couple of responses to that. It will take us 1 minute. We ask you to prepare a piece of paper. Can you write on that piece of paper, you're stronger than you think, in your language, or paraphrase it in English? What would be your message if you're talking to a victim of gender-based violence? What would be your message to that person? So what would be your key message? What do you want to say? If, in the video we say you're stronger than you think is our key message, what would you say in your own language? Or what would you say in English for this? So we usually ask to write it on a piece of paper, and we'll give you 30 seconds to write it. So I wonder if we have time and you can turn on your video and show your piece of paper with your message if you can, or if you're ready.
And thank you for participating.
Do we have any? Ladies, gentlemen, please turn on your video and show the piece of paper.
Vous êtes plus forte que vous le pensez? Thank you so much in French. Thank you,
You
Sokhan.
will be safe.
Yes.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you, Katie.
Thank you.
And you have a choice in the chat as well. So as another message. Really appreciate your input, and it shows most of the time, you're VWA professional or not, you're in the sector or not. If you show that you care and you do whatever you can within your capacity, knowledge, and abilities, and within the organization, it always counts. This is one of the activities we are trying to engage people, and not just to share them the video or give them a tool or give them the policy or guidelines, sample policy or guidelines. We try to engage people into discussion, and I'm sure within your organization you can use this video with your staff or with your clients or with the community. Ask them a question. Try to show the video and try to engage in the discussion and give some short exercises if you are the one facilitating the sessions. So it would be good if you will start using those tools. Those tools are for you to use for sure. But this is our half a year work, and this is just 1-2 minutes video.
Thank you, Nadia. We have in the chat box, Kathy asking how much does a video like this cost? Video can be so powerful. We used a summer student last year and did a whole client story, and it all produced and edited by the student.
I think all the recording, the script was done by members, so at no cost to Toronto West Lib. So none of us contributed any financial except time. The last part, when we did a little bit of editing, did cost Toronto West Lib a little bit, but it was not a huge cost for the video production. So it was only for video editing. So we submitted all the recordings and they just put it together. And I don't remember if it was a student or something, but it was very low cost. We could have put it together without the professional, but because we had a little bit of resources and we thought, let it looks a little bit nicer than done by us. So that's why we decided to pay for the editing.
So we're gonna, if you are okay with this, I will go with 1 minute, maybe less than a minute, with breathing exercise. Just quick break in the mind, and then we start to go through the toolkit. So keep your eyes closed or open. It's up to you, and we can do also with the client. Sometimes we need some time to keep going, It is called the square breathing exercise. So please slowly inhale. I'm gonna count to 4 and you're gonna slowly inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we go again. Try to bring the air to the part of your body that is bringing so much stress to you. Can be the tummy, can be your head, shoulders. Bring the air there if possible. We're gonna do it again. Slowly inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. And hold it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you. Slowly, slowly we go to start to see a little bit about the toolkit. Thank you, Jasmine, again. I know it's in the chat box, so you can click there, or you can go through the to the Toronto West Local Immigration Partnership website, and it's there as well. So we are now, as we said, in the 5th edition, just approved by all the members in June 2021. So it's the table of contents that you can see there, the contents that we were trying to put into the toolkit in order to support frontline staff, not in the VAW sector mostly. What we did in this edition, the electronic copy, is you can click on the topic you want to explore more and you go directly there. This can be done electronically. We can also provide copies to organizations if you need. So at the end of the presentation, we're going to have the contact who you can contact. So let's just to keep in mind that from WHO, World Health Organization, is estimated that right now 1 in 3 women have experienced abuse, physical abuse, abuse in any other kind during their lifetime. So can we drop the number? We have to start to think about that. And then this is in the toolkit also about other facts that we're gonna be able to explore in your organization. So let's go, Nadia, to next one. And in the toolkit, previous, sorry. Can you go to the previous, just the title? Yes, thank you. Just the title.
Oh, just the title.
Yes, thank you. That's okay. So in the toolkit, we have included the Ministry of Children, Community and Social Services definition of gender-based violence. So just think about what comes to your mind when you think about this topic, when you think about gender, when you think about gender identity, gender expression, when you're thinking about gender inequality, then gender-based violence. So what is the intention? And what are the repercussions for someone? Go ahead, Nadia. So we have there the definition I was telling you, but it's also important to explore what comes to your mind, how your organization is defining it, right? Also, what comes to your mind when thinking about forms of violence? As an example, sometimes we hear victims that come to, we see them and they can say, no, I was sharing this with someone and they were telling me because it's not physical abuse, then it's not abuse, right? We hear this many times. So what comes to your mind when thinking about forms of violence? only physical abuse describes violence? So let's think about what precautions a woman or female, or whoever identifies as a woman, has to take to feel safe. For example, if going for a walk at night, or if going for a walk during the day but in a non-populated park, or if going to a parking lot by herself after finishing work in the parking lot, when what precautions she has to take? Is this for everyone, or just because someone identifies as a woman? It is for everyone to keep an eye on a drink at a nightclub, for example, or just for certain people? Oh, so can go ahead, Nadia, please. We have included in the toolkit also definitions about all the forms of violence from the ministry. But I will say also that we also have to think and explore here in our minds what is abuse for what we consider abuse, what is our definition, and how can we define? Thank you, Nadia.
We also, when we been designing the toolkit, we thought of creating some simple tools with concrete, definitions and descriptions, but also make it useful for them in their line of work. So how to do the risk assessment, how to do safety planning, if they have time and capacity. What is the referral list? There are so many concrete tools are included in the toolkit. At the same time, it's only 18 pages. So that was another criteria which we had, like to make it not as a book or a manual, which is hard to read, but something what anybody can open, look at it, what they need, and use it in their line of work. And you don't have a lot of time when you're serving the client to get some concrete suggestions or questions or list of referrals and opportunity, other kind of guidance and resources to use for referral or for serving a client. So mainly the toolkit is for frontline staff. It's short, clean and nice, respond to help frontline staff to respond to situations they're facing with the client with sensitivity. It definitely, the goal is to increase women's safety and also victim safety, provide information on the resources and options, make referrals which are timely and effective for additional supports or all the supports, but at least not to respond to, at a minimum, to respond to disclosure as a referral of connecting to proper resources, and encourage women to take an action to end the violence and take steps towards positive changes in their lives, even though we know that it always takes time for people to make that step. And definitely for me, the support that frontline staff can provide, no matter in what sector they work, is definitely would count and help to make those positive steps in their lives. And of course, we have a disclaimer that if your agency has its own policy or service plans or referral procedure, it's not intended to replace the policies and guidelines internally. It's in addition to those you have internally.
Thank you, Nadia. So in the toolkit, we also included the power and control wheel and the quality wheel. And you can, I will say it is very helpful, for example, for an organization not in the VLW sector, if you can at least once a year do a presentation regarding domestic abuse, gender-based violence. And you can also include the wheel. You can work with your client in regards with what is a healthy relationship versus unhealthy relationship. So we have both of them. You can have your client to highlight what to start to put into words what was happening or is happening in their relationship, and highlight what are the tactics that the abuser is using. And sometimes only with this exercise, they will come to understand that yes, it's an abusive situation they are living, and they will be realizing, well, there is some steps they can take. There, you're gonna be there. You're gonna be able to support in many ways, or refer to other experts if you want. The equality will also can help to identify what is missing in their relationship, the absence of dignity, right? And you can work with them with that too. There are puzzles that people also do, and they have the definitions that you see in the power and control, the definitions of types of abuse and tactics. So, and they have to match which one belongs to what definition. So those are exercises you can do with your client. Also, remember, you can do the printout or get in other languages when we are talking about people with language barriers, or people that newcomers, they are not familiar with what is going on in Canada, right? Like it's a different reality. Thank you, Nadia. We can go to the next one. So when we, those are topics that we have included in the toolkit. As we said, we are not going through all the pages of the toolkit, but we just are highlighting some of them. So you can have a client, you may suspect abuse is present. So you may have some clues. Clients ask to do not get a call from you at home, for example, do not get emails from you. They are usually on a hurry, they cancel the appointments when you work with them, and they postpone. They come with someone that is answering on their behalf, that is taking decisions for the client you are seeing. So all those things are, you are suspecting them that this is a victim of abuse, potentially. What we have included in the toolkit is the lives approach that you have here. I'm going to explore more in detail now. And also, I will say from my experience that to be authentic, to show empathy, and to know yourself, and to understand is a client-centered approach. Sometimes, I will say from my experience, they don't feel okay to share, especially with you, but it's about the client. So we can always refer, we can always keep supporting, and we have to listen to them. Let's go to the next one. Nadia, I'm going to explore a little bit more about the lives approach, more in detail.
Doesn't want to move. Okay, next.
Just there, yeah. So when we talk about listening to your client, is how we listen to them. Be aware of your body language also when we listen to them. What are your comments when they are disclosing to you where you are? Let's say you are at the lobby of your organization, the reception desk, and they are starting to disclose something. You are not going to keep the client there, right? That you will want to go to a private place within your organization. You don't want other people to hear or overhear what they are sharing with you. If there are children with them, you may want to have a colleague, for example, to support with the children, to have them playing somewhere in the office. Many clients, of course, they don't want to disclose in front of their children. And then we have to find a way for them to feel comfortable with you. There are also language barriers, as we know, especially when we are supporting newcomers, immigrants to Canada. I will say from my experience that if you can get interpreters that are trained on the sector, will be better. They're gonna feel also more comfortable. I mean, I'm talking about the client. Go ahead, Nadia. So when we inquire, we do it in a respectful way. So I'm just repeating information that you may probably are doing all the time, but just to refresh ourselves. And if you have something to say, please go ahead in the chat box or go ahead. So if possible, avoid taking notes unless there is information we have to have in order to refer them, in order specific information. But if possible, the notes can be done when the client finish the disclosure. Just do not judge, do not make comments about how much or how little they are disclosing to you. Try to avoid the kind to say why questions. This can be like try to go to open-ended questions rather than why, like what can I do to support you? So can you provide more details if you feel more comfortable to tell me more about this or that? So I heard from someone, we got a training from this person that it's better to have, for example, the tissue box always ready there at your office, at your desk, handy, rather than provide to the client. Please be aware that probably they're gonna cry. We have to also give time from them to recover. And the thing about the tissue box is mostly related with we are not doing for them. They are ready to do for them. So we are not going through to their space. So that's why I'm saying we got this in a training, and I love it, the idea that is the client that will take the decision. I need a tissue or not. Go ahead, Nadia. So yeah, the LIFES approach includes that we validate, we try to avoid cutting them when they are disclosing. We show interest, like nodding or go ahead. We try to show that we understand what they are saying. We allow them for silence, like when I'm saying if they start to cry, give time, be present in the situation, show them that you are present. If possible, like mute your phone, no interruptions, right? Understanding is like I was saying, nodding and confirming, I'm here, I'm listening. Go ahead, Nadia. And about the safety, we're gonna go more in detail in the next slides, but what I will say is assess the risk, because the victim usually knows better about the risk, the risk is gonna face. About you can assess also about risk related with the abuser and risks related with the life. So, and when you go to assess the risks related to the abuser, you want to explore more about if is use of weapons, if the abuser has threatened the victim already, try to kill the victim. This can happen, and it's happening all the time, unfortunately. If the abuser is dealing with substance use issues, you want also to clarify the confidentiality piece. Let's say there are children involved, you have to mention about your duty to report and your limitations and the limitations that we have related with the confidentiality piece. In the safety planning, we're going to explore more in the next slides, but I will say when I will say it's more like we are creating a safety planning rather than say we are creating, we are safety planning as an action, as a verb. Go ahead, Nadia. And the support piece, of course, we can provide a list of resources that are appropriate for our client, the referrals as well. Of course, we can tell them if they want to bring with them the list of resources, if it's safe for them to bring with them, or they want to take a picture with a cell phone. And we explore together how to keep it in a safe place, right? So if it's needed and the client is ready, let's say the client wants to leave the abusive situation and is ready, we can advocate on their behalf. We can look for BAW shelters. Best way, I will say, is to contact the Assaulted Women's Helpline and see, because they know the spots in the city, the available, the vacancies at the shelters. So it's the best way to put them somewhere at safe. Go ahead, Nadia. As we were sharing, let me see the time. We are fine, Nadia? You want to say something?
No, finish the slide and we have only case scenario left, but hopefully we'll have 10 minutes for case scenario and 10 minutes for sessions, but you're gonna have 3-4 minutes for the slide if you need to.
Okay, thank you. Yes, about the safety planning with the client. So as you may know already, the most dangerous moment or when the escalation of violence can worsen is when the victim is ready to leave, right? So we want to safety plan accordingly. So we have to make sure we are safety planning for different settings. So for school is one, for home, when they go back, for daycare, for work, when they have their friends, relatives, in what city they are. So we take care of everything with the client. They know their situation. They also know how it worked if they already tried before, what has worked, what didn't work. So they want to avoid that. So if, let's say there is a case when they need support for related with medical or emergency issues, we can also support them with that. As we said, I'm repeating about the assess risk. And when we assess the risk about their own life, like let's say we have a client that is sponsored by the abuser, we need to know how we're going to support with that, because it can be deported. What is going to happen with the application? Is an application already submitted? So all those things we have to explore along with the client to make sure that we are taking everything into consideration financially, how they're going to do all those things in order for the client to be ready to safety plan accordingly and to be at safe. This is what we want. Also, when they have, everything is in the toolkit, you're gonna see also the resources. Many of the clients, they have pets. And let's say you're gonna refer to BAW shelter, and the clients, many will say, I'm not going if my pet is not going with me. So usually BAW shelters cannot put the pets there, right? So there are other resources we can provide. There are other organizations that temporarily can take care of their pets. So everything is in the toolkit. You wanna see who you can refer to, how you can support your clients in this way. And also, just to end this slide, is life is changing, things are changing. and then safety plan needs to be changing. So make sure you are checking how is it going. You make sure, like we do all the time, right? Like check with the client, they changed their job. Okay, let's review, let's safety plan again. Their cars. So who is the insurance? Who is taking care of the insurance? Sometimes the abuser can track them to an insurance company. I'm giving examples that we can see all the time, like a cell phone location is turn it off. So you are referring a client to us. We have this many times at the shelters, right? Like a family has been to be transferred to another shelter. Why? The abuser was around. Kids in the school, right? The school is not aware. The mom left the abuser, and we had this example before. They contact the father, so the father is able to track where they are. Why? Because around that school, around that area, there is this shelter, specific shelter, so they know where they are. So all those situations is what you want to work with them, and you want to refer to appropriate services. Thank you, Nadia.
Thank you, Cristina. And I think, we don't have time to go through the whole toolkit, but it's written in a simple language, and also taking into consideration, what capacity you have for frontline staff to address the disclosure. And of course, risk assessment and safety planning is probably the highest level of expectation from us, from non-VAW sector staff to do, but people are interested in upgrading their skills to help more, to support clients more. So there is an opportunity to learn about how to do risk assessments and safety planning in addition to the toolkit. And of course, toolkit has some guidelines, what questions to ask. And yes, it's simplified. Of course, Cristina is working in the VAW sector, so she's one of the expert members in our group, so she can talk more about it. And she's a professional in doing higher level stuff with victims that we probably expect from other community members or other frontline staff who we are targeting with the toolkit and other initiatives. But this is something, this is very, I believe it's the right approach, at least, to refer, understand the issue. As a frontline staff, it's your responsibility. I feel like it's their responsibility to understand the issue. And, if you cannot provide support based on your capacity, abilities, and skills, you know where to find the professionals like Cristina from Ernestine shelter, or at least to make sure that the client know whom to call, or you help the client to make that first call and ask for help. So this is just a couple of examples we wanted to share with you about the toolkit, but of course, please, flip the toolkit and see what it offers.
So Nadia, before going to the case scenario, just wanted to share also that included in the toolkit, we have a sample of incident form that you can use, so you can take an idea from it. Also sample of referral chart that you can keep in your organization and see what has been done with this client, how can we follow up, how can we keep going. Resources list is there, as we mentioned, and as well as a glossary of VAW terms that we usually use. And in the chat box, we have Srisha. She's stating that it's important to remember that we all have magic inside of us. Thank you. Yes. Nira, thanks for sharing some of your tools. OCASI and the IRCNFF campaign has a number of tools and educational resources in more than 10 languages that we can download. The link is there. Thank you. Lisette, I am a school settlement worker and I know what you are talking about. As soon as I know about the situation, I call the school and I ask to call me right away so I can release the information. Thank you. Yes.
Okay. So thank you, Cristina, for looking in the chat. So we thought of breaking our presentation a little bit, and then the last 10 minutes maybe bring you a case scenario, and we can have a discussion, because you can unmute yourself and participate in the discussion as well. So we used a lot of case scenarios and engagement in our trainings. So, and I'll probably read the case scenario, but you can do it as well. An immigrant woman named Julie visited your center and spoke to one of the frontline workers. Julie has poor English language skills and shared that she has been living in Canada for 3 years with her husband and 3 young children. Julie shared that her husband has been emotionally and verbally abusing her for years, but in the last 2 years, he has begun to slap and push her. He tells her that if she leaves him, she will never see her kids and she will be kicked out of Canada. Julie says that to the frontline worker that the abuse is her fault. And we can probably have more case scenarios, and I'm sure it resembles some of the clients you've probably seen. And the discussion questions we could have, we'll ask you to share, if you want, of how your agency or agency staff, how you or your agency staff respond to the disclosure. Or you can, think about and giving us your input on, from the information you gained today in this workshop, what will be useful for you and your organization in supporting Julie? So thinking about Julie, can you share with us how your agency or your agency staff would support Julie? And if there is anything in the tools or what we shared today could help or be useful for your organization. Do we have any volunteers? Have you met a similar case, or you had a client in a similar situation as Julie? Do we have any volunteers?
Hi.
Hello, Lisa.
Hi. Yes, I have a similar situation. That my case, the sponsor actually moved out of the resident, the matrimonial resident, and he was doing something similar, threatening her that she will be deported back to her home country, and she will keep the child. She has one child from a previous marriage that was born outside Canada, but she has one child with this sponsor, with the sponsor that was born in Canada. So the child was born in Canada. He was threatening her, so if you leave, you were never going to see your child. This is a younger child. So my first was to ask her what she wanted to do. Because the sponsor was outside, but this was outside of the matrimonial home, but he has a key to the house. I connected with Women in Crisis, and we created a safety plan. And also the sponsor was as well, spreading allegations about what was the reason for him to leave, when we realized there was a domestic violence. So Women in Crisis helped the client to obtain a new lock. We informed the landlord. The landlord was hesitant at the beginning because he was the one paying for the rent. But when the client shared with her, no, this is what is happening, she agreed to change the lock. And we connected with the police, and she was open to put a restriction order, ended up putting a restriction order. But I think that the first step that I did with her was like she had a choice, and she was not going to be sent back to her home country, was just giving information that would help her to stay calm, and stop thinking that she will be removed and separated from her child. So, and then I asked her, what would you like to do? In this case, she wanted to try to move to another place, but she was also thinking about her younger child that was already in the school, and he was doing well in the school. She said, no, I don't want to move. So we ended up securing a lawyer, a family law lawyer, and also this lawyer was also immigration law. So because he came in with he said she was served with papers about he wanted to full custody. So all of this, when she approached our organization, she has no information whatsoever how her life could change. She has no information whatsoever what type of resources will be available for her, because it was something similar. He was keeping her on the dark, on the loop. He was not providing information that was useful. So the outcome has been quite positive. I still working with this case, and she has grown so much, but it was information what she needed the most, besides knowing about how she could help keep herself safe and the rest of the family.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Lisette, for sharing it with us. And it's extensive support that the organization offered to the client.
One thing I wanted to share, say, Nadia, and I think it's the most important. Thank you, Lisette. It's very helpful for everyone. When you said what's her choice, it's always like that, right? Like, what would you do? Will you do is not the important piece. It's what she wants to do, and you assess the risk with the victim, right? Like you were doing, and you're still supporting. Hopefully everything is going in the right path. Thank you. Sorry, Nadia.
Thank you, Cristina. That's a very important point. Yeah, it's always she decides when and what, when she's ready and what she wants to do. Yes, timing is also important. It does, if she says no, I'm not moving now, but then it could be in a month she's ready to move, and you keep checking. What's your point right now? What she's ready for now. Lisette, just one question. Is your organization, you don't have to say the name, but is your organization categorized as the organization which is in women against violence against women sector?
I can't say my organization is the YMCA Three Rivers.
Mm-hmm.
I can say that's what I was attracted to when you start talking about the toolkit. I honestly, I don't recall using those terms in our organization. We have received training about what to do in cases like a client comes with, and we could see signs of violence, and the client is in fear. So we have received training in that matter, but no specifically. Honestly, I can't say. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's definitely, we've seen housing workers, employment counselors, settlement counselors, intake workers, like different people attend our training, and which just supports that our mission that gender-based violence is everyone's issue to address, so that it's not restricted to women against violence sector. And I'm amazed how huge difference you made in the life of one woman, and every family matters, every person matters when it comes to, we cannot globally change everything unless we change one person situation, or at least we can influence the situation of one person is in, especially if it's a safety issue. So thank you very much for that. Anybody else wants to disclose or respond to any of those two questions?
Yes, I would like to add that during the work with the Newcomer Center, we encounter many cases of newcomer women who really have misinformation, don't know where to go and what to do, what's their rights, what's their duties here in Canada. It relates a lot to the case scenario that you have shared with us. So in this case, we do listening. We listen. We do we empathize with whatever we hear, and as the previous person said, we build the capacity, or we not build the capacity. We work with the client, give her the choice, and work based on what the client sees is the best for her. We don't offer the magic solution for whatever story we hear. As a project lead for the Legal Assistance Center, we were connecting women to family law lawyers, and then doing wraparound supports, food banks, shelters, employment. So we were trying to pull out all the available resources to empower women and make them take the decision to walk out of whatever abusive situation they were at. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shadeen. Cristina, do you want to comment? Shaden?
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Shaden. Is what you said, right? Like there is we have to be realistic also, right? Like put in on top of the table all that we can explore with the client. It's the client that is guiding us, and then we go from there. And in many cases, as Nadia was sharing, they are not ready. They are not ready to
Yes.
leave. And then, but you know what? Just for us to keep in mind. So there, many of the shelters we have the outreach program. So feel free to connect with any of the shelters. I believe that many of them they have. So is to support the client with you. We do together. And
yeah,
then,
yeah, it takes many to
like
work
that.
with a client of GBV, not only one organization or one person. Impossible. Yeah.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. And just from the data, it takes usually 7 tries for the client to leave, right? Like yes.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's hard.
It's definitely, you know, and if they've been affected by abuse, they don't believe in themselves because they were put down so many times. They start believing that they're not capable, they are not worth of making a decision. They cannot make a decision. You know, there are so many other things, emotional, psychological things that come in place, and it's not only bruises and you know, physical injuries. And this takes time for them to kind of overcome that fear of unknown or fear of change, because whatever was happening with them was painful, but they don't know if whatever they are changing it to might be more painful than it is. And with threats, that's definitely becomes almost a victim of all those threats. Oh my God, I cannot make it happen. So
I want to add some, sorry, Nadia, to interrupt you, but I want to add an important factor, which is cultural background. Sometimes at certain cultures, it's okay to be abused. It's shame to say whatever's happening between husband and wife, or, you know, and some cultures, there's only husband and wife, no partners. So the cultural aspect and the way women are brought up, and the baggage that they carry with them, sometimes many times it makes it very hard to disclose, and very hard to say that we want to go out of this. It's wrong. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. This is very important. And we hear all the time, especially newcomers to Canada. This is normal in their lives, but we are here to empower them to explore what is the reality in Canada. Totally different, right? And we have to go from there. Thank you. Nadia, we have, I think, 3 minutes.
3 minutes, okay.
Oh my gosh.
We are not gonna really, we'll skip testimonials, just give you an idea that we had a couple of testimonials of people who use the toolkit or the tools we've done. Access Alliance was using our tools and then joined the group, became members of the group. We also have YMCA Language Assessment Center as a member. And you know, you don't have to have expertise to join our group. Many people learn by participating in our group to learn more about gender-based violence. I'm sorry, there is a sound in my room. And just to acknowledge the members, Cristina, do you want to take the acknowledgement of all our current members?
So this is the list of our members. We are here representing all of them. And we have been working very hard together. We have been meeting and dedicated our time at least once a month to meet before the pandemic and during the pandemic, as we were saying virtually. We never ended and we have a lot to do. It's open, I believe. So I will say thank of all of these members, Nadia, myself here. We can come up with many other ideas, and we are open. I don't know if you want to say something else, Nadia, but if you want to reach out to the Women's Against Violence Action Group, the last slide will show you how to reach to us, either Jasmine or Sergio, and go ahead, email. We have your emails as well. So, and then we are here, and we know you are there. We can be together. So in our mission, as we said, to end gender-based violence is everyone's to address.
Yes, thank you, Cristina. Just before we finish, it's definitely what we showed today is the contribution of all the members. Everybody contributed, you know, their time, their effort, and you know, their knowledge, definitely motivation into all the tools and all the work we've done. And it's almost impossible to take us all apart. We cannot reach what we've reached as a group. So you know, none of our agency would be able to reach this kind of work or the result as when we're all together, and that's the power of collective impact. So definitely, no me, no Cristina will take the full credit for everything what we showed, but we all proud to be part of it. You know, like we all can talk about what we've done and what we achieved as a group. Yes, definitely. We're stronger than when you think, when our main message to the victim, and also, oh, I think we finished.
Yeah, has been cut. 4:30.
So everybody left. So thank you
No,
very
it's
much.
4:30. Remember, it's automatic.
Oh, yes, I'm sure. Okay. Thank
Hi,
you.
Nadia. Thank you so much.
And I'm talking and then I see no people. Okay.
I didn't see.
Okay. So
Thank you, Nadia. I will try to connect with you tomorrow. Is that okay?
Sure. Yeah.
Just to debrief. Thank you. Thank you so much. Really like it.
You did very well, Cristina.
You did, Nadia. Thank you. Oh my gosh. See you soon.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, OCASI.
Thank you, OCASI. Bye-bye.
Bye.